What's up guys, Heatfireash here. I wanted to make a video going over some beginner tips for people that might be playing TSL coming from Hearthstone. A lot of people I know heard about the game from maybe some other streamers that usually stream Hearthstone, and a lot of people definitely that enjoy card games probably started on Hearthstone. So, and just like me, I also started on Hearthstone, played it for a while, decided to switch over to this game. I still play Hearthstone sometimes for fun, but I guess I'm more involved in this game now. So I figured I'd make a video to show some of the differences between this game and Hearthstone. If you're just wondering, how similar is it? How does it compare at all? This is just going to go over some basic things. So we'll start out. I'll jump into the deck creator here. And I'll just pick a random deck here. So the first thing with the deck in Hearthstone, the decks are 30 cards. In this game, they are 50 cards. See down there, 50 out of 50. So 20 more cards. This does a couple of things, in my opinion. It lets you play more cards, obviously, but it lets you change your strategies a little bit. It's no longer you have to play these cards to for a specific archetype. Like in Hearthstone, there's the good cards and there's not much room for tech cards. In this game there's a tremendous amount of room for tech cards. So while 50 cards makes it you see cards less, sometimes you can play the cards that you actually wanted to, whereas in Hearthstone many times you would have to play the main 30 best cards. Not much room for tech. You can also play three copies of card instead of 2. So once again, this just means if it's a good card, you're going to need 3 of them now. You're going to have to get more copies of the cards, which is a little bit of a downside because 2 copies in Hearthstone is much easier to get a hold of, especially when you're talking about the more expensive cards, like Legendaries and Epics. And there are Legendaries that you can play more than one of. I'll get to that later. And as far as the types of cards, there are 3 different types. Action card, that's like a spell in Hearthstone, same thing. And I guess I should say cards are similar in that they have a mana cost and then they do something. This game's based on the same type of mana system as Hearthstone is. Basically, you get an extra mana every turn. I'll explain more about that when I jump into a game. So action cards are like spells in Hearthstone. You then have your minion cards, basically act the exact same way. You have your attack and your health there. Same type of setup as Hearthstone for that. And then let me find one. I actually don't have one. There's another type of card. Let me see. I'm playing one in here. I'll click on this. This is an item card. And this is like an equipment. You put this onto a minion and then they get the buff. So this is sort of similar, I guess, to like a weapon card in Hearthstone, except for it does not go on your hero, it goes on a creature. Closest thing to this in Hearthstone would be Blessings of Kings, but that's just a regular spell. This is like a specific, they have a different kind here called item. And there's one other type of card that I almost forgot. Let me see if I can find one. This is a support card, and I just added it to the deck. But this is a card that stays on the field when you play it until your opponent gets rid of it. And there's certain cards that say they destroy support cards, but it'll stay on the field and it'll give a certain. Some of them have activates, and once they're done activating, however many times they can, they'll go away. But this one's just ongoing, which means it's just going to stay on the field. So those are all the different types of cards. I'm going to hop into a game here just against the AI so I can go over some of the differences with the actual gameplay. Let's do a practice here. We'll just do novice. So Nothing crazy happens. So, as you can see, the interface is a little different, like graphically wise, obviously, but many things are the same. You do start out with a mulligan, 3 cards, so you can put back, you know, whatever you want. Draw your next card. The person to go second, unlike in Hearthstone where you get the coin, in this you actually get this. Elixir of Magicka. And this is a support card, like I said. And it gains you 1 Magicka when you use it. It has 3 uses. So that means for 3 turns you get to have an extra Magicka. So it's almost like having an extra 2 extra coins. Although your opponent can destroy this, it's kind of rare for that to happen, but it can happen. And I know when I first started with this game, I thought it was really broken. Like you'd always want to go second because you get 3 coins. Why wouldn't you want to go second with 3 coins? But actually, it's still slightly better across the board with win rates to go first. Main reason is that for the first 3 turns, if you go second, you will be on the same amount of mana as your opponent. But then after that point, after you're done using this elixir, the person that went first will be back on top of mana. So it kind of evens itself out, even though it seems broken. The other big thing, I guess, is the 2 lanes. So I can actually play a card, so I'll pass my turn here. So I can show you.
This day will be mine.
Next turn, he played it. There's 2 lanes. So this one is the shadow lane, and this is the regular lane. The regular lane is just like a normal Hearthstone lane. Play creatures, you can attack, stuff like that. This lane, shadow lane, you play a minion in here and it gains cover, and cover means that it cannot be attacked for 1 turn. Cover is sort of similar in Hearthstone to stealth, except for minions with cover can still be affected by spells and by minion effects, so they just can't be attacked. The other big difference is your hero here is not based off, you know, what kind of colors you choose. It's just whatever you want. So there are a bunch of different avatars you can pick. It doesn't really matter for gameplay wise. But there are runes up here. These runes will break every 5 damage you take. So you start out at 30 health. You go to 25, a rune breaks. You go to 20, a rune breaks. 15, 10, and 5. When a rune breaks, you draw a card. So what this kind of does is evens out the aggressive decks a little bit. So if you're just going face constantly, you're going to be breaking runes, dealing damage, and your opponent is going to be able to draw a bunch more cards. So what it does is it makes you think about your actions a little bit more, and not just, you can't just go face constantly. And one other thing to mention is prophecy cards. It is a keyword. You may play this for free when drawn from a rune loss. So, say my opponent attacked me down to 25, my rune breaks, I draw a card, and I drew this, or a different card with prophecy. It would let me play that card for free without costing me any mana. So, it's another thing to watch out for when you're playing aggressive. You could give your opponent a rune. Not only could they draw a card, they might get to play it for free. So it's a cool mechanic. It definitely affects the aggro matchups. I know a lot of times in Hearthstone, there's some aggro decks that are just annoying to play against. They just keep going face. There's like no way to stop them, and this definitely affects that a certain amount. Now, you know, it's a draw mechanic, so it's RNG. Although in my opinion, is good RNG. The fact that it's the same as drawing. Like when you draw a card, you don't know what's going to be, but it's in your hand. You have the option to play it or not to play it. You have the option of what you want to do with it. Just like if you get a prophecy card off of a rune, you have the option of playing it or just putting it in your hand. So it is random, but it is a risk for your opponent just to keep attacking face. So I do like that about this game as well. Alright, so I think that's all I need to say about the actual match. Oh.
The battle is yours.
Let's concede to that. There are 5 different types of classes, and each class can be mixed with another class. So let me here. So you got strength, intelligence, willpower, agility, and endurance. So you could play a monocolored deck if you want, but usually you mix them, and mixing them give you all sorts of different deck building options, which I think is pretty cool. It makes you not limited to what just that one class wants to do. There are also dual attribute cards that you can only use with certain kinds, like this is a red and blue, so I can only be used in a strength and intelligence deck. And this is something I really, really enjoy. And there's not many of these cards out. I think there's just an epic and a legendary for each combination. But in the future, I know they're going to release more cards and be able to build up archetypes. And this way, cards won't be as broken because they'll be set only to one certain archetype. So I think that's pretty cool. Alright, another thing to know is like rarities. So you have the same type of rarities as you have in Hearthstone: common, rare, epic, and legendary. But there are 2 different types of legendaries. So if you want to look here, for instance, see this type of legendary. You have the gold here, so you know it's legendary. But you can actually play 3 of this card. Unlike in Hearthstone, all legendaries you can play 1 of. You can play 3 of this if you want. Now there are other kinds of legendaries called unique legendaries, like this. That's noted by this, and you can even say, it says unique there so you know. But it has this little circle up here. That means you can only play 1 of it. So, sometimes you get to play 3 of a really broken card, which is cool. I guess a downside, though, to that is that if there is a really good card and it's a legendary, you need 3 of them. And that's going to cost you, it's going to cost you more dust. So overall, I think the price to play is pretty much, it about evens out. Hearthstone, you only need 30 cards, but in this game, you need more cards, and sometimes you need more legendaries. But this game is really, really good about giving you cards for free. They have a leveling system. You start out at 1 and you go up to 50. And throughout this, they give you cards for free. They give you packs, they give you dust, they give you gold. They give you a lot of rewards, which is great. So like it is not hard to be a free to play in this game. A lot of people do it, and it's not hard to build up a collection because they give you so much just for leveling up. They give you 2 legendaries that are going to be unique based on what avatar you choose, and then you get a couple more legendaries as well that everybody gets. So it's pretty cool. They give you some like very high quality cards just for ranking through the game. One more thing that I want to point out, which was something I didn't know when I started playing. Just like Battlecry effects in Hearthstone, there are summon effects in this. They do the same thing, except for the fact that summon effects in this game will trigger if they are played, for instance, from the graveyard. If they are resurrected from the graveyard, they will get their summon effect. So you can definitely abuse that quite a bit, which is kind of cool. So keep that in mind. It's not like in Hearthstone where your battle cries aren't going to go off again. So the last thing that's pretty important is the rank ladder. You start at rank 12, and then you go up to 1, and then there's Legend. Pretty much like Hearthstone, just you're starting at 12. I believe you need 4 wins at first, and then you get bonus rounds. And then once you get up to 5, I think you need like 6 wins or something to get out of a rank, 6 or 7, and there are no more bonus rounds. At rank 9, 5, and 1, those are like placeholders where if you get to one of those ranks, you will get the special card for the month. There are new cards. There's a new card each month. That's a reward for playing ranked. So if you get to 9, you get 1 copy. If you get to 5, you get 2 copies of that card. If you get to 1, you get 3 copies of that card. So that's an incentive. You get other things too as well, but you get the new card, which is pretty cool. That's another thing they do, give a new card every month, which definitely, the cards aren't always that relevant, but it does help change up the meta a little bit, and I mean, adding more cards is always good for a game. And the other thing that I really like is that you can't fall back rank. One thing that used to plague me in Hearthstone is laddering, getting up a rank, and then just going on a huge losing streak, falling down a rank, and then you just get discouraged, you're upset, you worked hard to get to your high rank, and then you just fell back down. In this, see, I'm rank 5 now. If I kept dropping, I would go into what's called the Serpent rank. I would still be considered rank 5, but there are 2 losses that you can get in Serpent rank, and you can't go below that. So, basically, if I need 7 wins to move on to rank 4, and I'm all the way in the bottom of the Serpent rank, I would now need 9 wins. So it makes it harder to get out, but you're still at that rank, which I think is cool, and it definitely, for me, it helps with morale, which keeping a good attitude in these kind of games is hard, but it definitely helps you play better. And the last thing is when the season ends, based on where you are, determines what position you will be at next season. So you need to get one better than you need to get 1 rank higher than each rank that gives you the card. So if you got to rank 9, you get a card. You need to get rank 8 to start at rank 9 the next season. Rank 5, you need to get to rank 4 at least to start at rank 5. So the highest you can start at a season is rank 5. So it's definitely less wins in Hearthstone to get to Legend. I guess the last thing is there's some similar keywords. There's similar keywords in Hearthstone. So charge, like this. Charge is charge. Same exact thing. Summon, like I kind of said earlier, summon is Battlecry. Try to find another one here. Silence, this one says silence. Silence is silence. See if I can find another one. Let's go to this. I guess I might as well just go over all these. Drain is one that when you attack, only when you attack with the creature, your hero gains health based on how much attack you have. So if you attacked a creature or your opponent's face, you would gain 1 health. Guard is the same as taunt. Pilfer means that when you attack your opponent's face, you get this ability. So if I attacked face with this, I would get 1/1 and gain a random keyword. There is also ward. Well, here it says ward. Give a creature ward. That is the same as divine shield. Oh, there's another one I should explain here. Lethal. Lethal is like, I think it's called Pit Viper, Hearthstone, I can't remember for sure. But it'll kill anything it attacks. Anything it deals damage to, I should say. Because it doesn't work through a ward. So, but if it deals damage, it will kill that creature. Another one is Last Grasp. Obviously not. Well, I can't find it. Here. This one says Trigger Last Grasp. What that does is when it dies. So it's the same as Death Rattle. There is Shackle. Shackle is the same as Freezing. The only thing about Shackle is it can be silenced. I don't know if this works in Hearthstone or not. Maybe it does. But if you're shackled and you can't attack, if you silence your own creature, you can then attack. Which is pretty cool. And Breakthrough's the last one. This is like Trample in Magic, if you know what that is. Basically, it takes your attack, and whatever your attack is over the opposing minion's health, it will deal that damage to your opponent's face. So it's a way to get in some extra damage. And then obviously, Prophecy mechanic, I went over that with the runes. So hopefully that was just a little introduction on some of the similarities and differences between Legends and Hearthstone. And hopefully it maybe will make you want to try out the game. Give it a go. I think it's a really fun game. I do think it is better than Hearthstone. Hearthstone is still a fun game in my opinion, but I definitely enjoy this game more. And I would just encourage you to give it a try. Alright, thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you next time.